Welcome to NocBro Nation.
What's going on, guys?
Hey guys, today we have a special review here for you today.
Oh, yes.
We actually ran into an artist at Omaha Comic Con, OCon.
OCon, yeah.
Her name was Megan Levens.
Yeah.
And actually she is the artist for a series called Angel City.
Angel City.
Yeah, Angel
Yes.
City. So we wanted to actually review this comic, read this comic, and review this comic. Megan actually was, again, illustrated by Megan.
Yep.
And just amazing art in here.
Oh, yes.
So we wanted to actually review this. This is issue 1 that we'll be reviewing today for you.
Yep. So it was really cool to talk to her. She explained what the comic is about. She actually signed a couple of the copies that we got for her. We told her about our channel, that we review comics, and that we would love to review this for her. So definitely check this out and let us know what you think of this review and what you think of the comic. This comic is written by Janet Harvey. It is illustrated by Megan Levens, and it's colored by Nick Filardi, lettered by Crank. It's designed by Hillary Thompson, edited by Ari Yarwood, and it is published by Oni Press.
Oni Press.
Oni Press.
Oni Press.
Oni Press. Oni Press.
Oni Press.
However you pronounce it. So the basics of this comic, it is dealt in the 1930s Hollywood noir. So it is a crime comic. From what Megan has told us, that it is a female protagonist, and that she is going to be going around trying to solve crimes.
Dottie, right?
Dolores. She goes by Dottie.
Dottie.
And so she's a crime-fighting woman who kicks some major butt. And it's a female perspective, so it sounded really, really cool when she explained it to us, and we read it, and it was really interesting. Yeah. So we are really happy to review this comic for you guys.
Yeah, it starts out with a detective actually investigating a homicide.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty
like
brutal homicide. Yeah, dude. So the detective actually is on scene. Was it his narrative, I think, to begin with? I think it's his narrative through the whole thing.
It's actually her narrative.
Is it?
It's actually Dolores' narrative.
Yeah. So the detective is actually on scene and discovers a body who is, I believe she knew. Francis, was it Francis?
I forgot the last name.
Let me get the name.
But so the first panel is showing her, Francis, in the trash. She was dumped in the trash. Frances Faye. She was dumped in the trash.
I think that was her nickname.
Yeah, and the narrative is kind of talking about, there's so many pretty girls wanting to come to Hollywood, to be stars, but weird things happen in between. And so I think he's a reporter, Joe, actually goes to Dolores' home because he is friends with her as well. And immediately Dolores is, looking all nice and blonde and shiny. She's by the pool, and she kind of says, "Oh, you're here."
Yeah.
Like, why are you here?
Yeah, and I think he's like, "Don't sound so excited to see me," or something like that.
Yeah. And so he's kind of asking her, hey, have you read the papers yet? And she's like, "No, I don't read the papers, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Unless I have to, or something like that.
And he mentions about Francis being killed, and she was very
standoffish.
She didn't really care.
She almost as if didn't bug her, brush off the shoulder type of attitude. Like, I knew her, but
yeah, she hasn't seen her in a long time, and we get some backstory here in a little bit. But Joe is just like, this isn't the Dolores I know. The Dolores I know would want to find out exactly who did this to my friend. And he kind of says as he's leaving, I want that Dolores back, because we don't know their relationship as of yet, but apparently they've known each other, and Dolores was a different person before who she is now.
Yeah, it sounds like all three, her, Francis, and him, kind of knew each other prior to the current story.
And so we do immediately get into some background. We get into Dolores doing some narrative. She's talking, she's reflecting on Francis, how they were both young. They both came to Hollywood together. They had barely any money between them. They
actually ran out of money.
They ran out of money the first week, I think. They're working in clubs. They're
waiting tables, selling cigarettes.
Yes, waiting tables, selling cigarettes in a club. And it was actually, and it kind of seems like Dolores had some resentment because Frances in the club, she was talking and meeting a lot of men, and she actually, it seemed like she got a really good opportunity job first, and that's when she left, and Dolores never saw her.
She left for Vegas.
That's right.
And it seemed like she progressed at a faster pace than Dolores expected to.
Right.
So maybe she was envious of her.
Right.
We
Her
didn't
fame,
get too much about that, but we did
Yeah.
understand that here's Frances, and she's making making something out of her life, but Dolores is still selling cigarettes at the club.
Right. And so I think she feels that, look, we came here together. This was our plan to do this together. Okay, you got your job first, but maybe she thought, well, why couldn't you bring me along to Vegas? And she was just like, oh, I got a gig. I'm off to Vegas. Bye.
See you soon.
So basically, there's our friendship. You didn't really care about my success.
So we cut into the next scene, I think, which is someone, a male hitting on her.
Yeah.
Drunk, hitting on her as she's selling cigarettes or being a waitress, and she just beats the crap out of him.
She goes from beautiful blonde selling cigarettes to UFC fighter. I mean, she just takes the cigarette thing, the holder that smashes it over his head.
Like Atomic Blonde type crap. Like, she goes off on this guy, and she actually gets noticed from what becomes, or we find out, is a crime boss.
Yeah, he's actually the owner of the club. His name is Gino Volante, Italian, I believe. And so he's like, wow, you got some skills there, woman, And
what's a doll face?
He calls her doll face.
Calls it doll face.
And and I think from a lot of 30s and 40s like movies that I've seen,
tell
they always call women doll face.
Yeah,
or
you
pretty
could tell
girls doll face.
And that's a cool thing that I liked about that, is that it really stuck to that age, right? Just the language in the comic itself was great.
And so he offers her a job, and she actually becomes an enforcer for him because he's in the mob. So we immediately see her go to some shop, walks in, and asks this guy, you got Volante's money?
Yeah. Puts his head down on the counter.
Yep. Smashes his head on the counter, demanding money. And then I think he does pay up.
Yeah.
But then he calls the cops, and the cops show up, and he's like, oh, thank God. And as she's speeding away on like this cool looking motorcycle thing, he's pointing and says, that's her. And the cops are like,
you're crazy.
I think he's hallucinating, Joe. Man, I don't know what he's seeing. So of course we jump back to the club, and Gino has those guys on his payroll.
Yeah, and he's paying them off.
He's paying them off.
And then he turns to Dollface, and says, hey, do you want? Did you get a necklace for yourself? As payment, take advantage of what you're doing.
Right.
And she says no.
No. Yeah, she's not looking for that. I mean, and I also forgot to mention that in as she's meeting, when she's meeting Gino for the first time, when she went up there, he asks, like, do you know my name? And she says, yes, I know who you are. And it mentions that at that moment, her real name is actually Dorothy Dunkel. She says, Dorothy Dunkel disappeared. Dolores Dare went to work. So she goes by Dolores Dare, which is a very cool name. Yeah. So we get to Dolores and Gino are kind of talking. He's giving her a necklace, and she's, what is this for? And he's like, I want to give you the world. I want to give you everything. And she's like, you're giving me too much already. I just want to, they're having a loving relationship.
Yeah,
I think they're dating.
Yeah, it sounds like they're a couple, and he's
right.
He's
looking after
really
her.
into her.
He's really into her. He's giving her the world. Fancy dresses, beautiful necklaces. She's staying in a great house. And I think he asked her about something, and she says, no, I have something to do. And she actually goes to the funeral for Frances. So she heads to the funeral, and we see a panel where she has a tear running down her eye, and the cops who are actually at the club are there at the funeral, and they're like, oh, she does cry. I guess she's a female after all.
Yeah.
So it gets back into the stereotypical, women back in those days were, very looked down upon. They were servants. At that time, they did not have, there were no women's rights. So they were just looked down upon at all times. So, and she's talking with them, and the cops are like, asking her, so how do you know the deceased? And she gets right in their face. Who's asking? Who's asking? And they're like, we're just.
Yeah, it's
opening a query, that's all.
It's completely different from the Dolores that we saw, obviously 10, 15 pages ago, where she was standoffish and just brushed off the murder of her friend. So she clearly had an alternative motive in hiding that.
Right.
She obviously wants to find out who did it.
Right. And what's cool is that she also points to a gentleman that's at the funeral, and she says, this guy's named Mannix, and he is a fixer for the studio. So why don't you go ask him how he knows Francis? So we could find out something later about this Mannix guy. Either may have something to do with it, or he's a fixer for the studio. So maybe Francis was, I don't know, had a beef with somebody at the studio, so they decided to take her out, or a beef with another woman who was a rising star as well, and they were beefing. Who knows? Yeah. So it was actually pretty interesting to see that. So where we're at.
So does she get back home then?
Yeah, so
she goes back home. She's upset, right? Obviously, I think it was right after the funeral, and she sees a picture of her and Francis, or Francis.
It's not a full picture, but it is a. It's I think it's the one picture that she looked at before. That's why she started reminiscing about it, and so she sees that. You know, before she's looking in the mirror, she's looking very, very sad. She sees the picture, then you see her face in full rage, anger mode. And then she storms out, slams the door, and that's the end of the issue. And so I think that, you know, in this next issue, she is just going to be... She's going to take on this investigation herself, because at the funeral, she told the cops, you know, hey, you know, if you want any help with the investigation, I'll help you. Yeah. And they laughed it off. They're like, ha, honey, we don't need any help from you. We're fine.
Yeah, they obviously don't know, or just don't care. Right. You know, her abilities. Right. And furthermore, her relationship with Francis. So, exactly. I liked it. I did.
I really did. I liked it a lot, and I'm really interested to read issue 2 to find out exactly where this rage is going to take her. Because...
So, when we were there, I actually bought 1, 2, and 3, and I had Megan sign them for me. You bought 4.
I bought 1 and I bought 6.
6.
Because she mentions that a trade is going to be coming out here pretty soon.
Yeah, which I will be picking
up. So 6 issues have been released, so a trade is going to be coming out in a couple months. I don't know the date yet. She didn't mention the date. But a trade for this is going to be coming out soon. So they're already up to 6 issues on this. So it's really, really cool right now. And we're definitely going to be checking it out more. Yeah, so let us know.
Let us know what you guys think if you haven't read it, but if you have read it, let us know. Excuse me.
Definitely.
If you haven't read it, pick it up. We always like to support, you know, up and coming artists. Oh yeah. You know,
definitely. Whatever we can. Yep. I mean, you know, we went to Ocon and we picked up a couple comics. Not sure if we'll review them all, but you know, Megan was one that we really enjoyed talking to, and you know, she seemed really excited that we were going to do this review, and so we hope that she enjoys it, and hopefully everyone else on her team who might see this video enjoys it. Yeah. And so like our video. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, one more thing. I just want to say it's really awesome when you actually get to go to a con and interact with some of these artists. Oh yeah. There are plenty of them that are just so inviting and wanting to talk to you because they want to get their work out, and they want to be known. They want to be the next, you know, Robert Kirkman or whatever. Exactly. And that's good. You know, we want to respect that and we want to support that. There are others out there that just don't care and are just there for the con, but we want to support as many as we can.
Exactly. So like our video, subscribe to our channel, follow us on Twitter for any updates, and stay tuned for more Angel City. We are NocBro Nation, and we're out.